So we're gonna do something a bit more fun today. We're gonna do something called meme review. And we're doing this because I can't really do anything really video-wise because I've just had surgery on my foot. So I'm technically not supposed to be standing up till at least the day after tomorrow. But I figured we could do meme review in order to do some kind of video to put out on the channel. Now this is something you might not know, but I've actually not been able to wear shoes for the past 2 years. Since back when we lived in the camper, I actually got hurt with my foot. And every day since then, when I've been walking around my foot, I have been in pain. I've been in therapy, I've been doing a lot of different things in order to get my foot straight, and nothing works. So I finally had my last surgery to finally fix my foot 2 days ago. So I'm looking very much forward to see if this is going to help my foot or not. But oh, we have to choose a program to open this in. Okay. I have to admit, I was expecting something a bit more technical to pop up, like something intelligent meme-wise. But if you don't know, Python is a programming language, which is a server-side language. And if you take Python, which is a snake, you know, because Harry Potter talks to Snake and such, so it's funny. Let's go to the next one. Writes fault-tolerated multi-threaded backend. Boss only cares about CSS. Now this one's funny, because I can relate to this one. I actually used to work at a company called Easy Food as a multimedia developer. And the thing about working in a working environment together with a bunch of people who doesn't do the same thing as you when it comes to programming, they will only be amazed or give you any sort of applause if you have something that visually looks really cool. This one is definitely true when it comes about workplace environments. I might be stupid, but I don't get this one. I don't think this is like, haha, funny. It's more like, maybe it's because it's not a programmer joke. It's more of a like a computer geek joke. Okay, next one. Oh, my leg is starting to hurt because I had to stand on one leg this whole time. Saying Java is good because it works on all operating systems. That's supposed to be an S behind there. It's like saying anal sex is good because it works on all species. I'm kind of that way when it comes to C#. When I wrote this code, only God and I understand what it did. Now, only God knows. This is why I need to put comments in your code, because later on, about 2 months down the road, you won't be able to know what your code does, because you never remember what the code does. Write comments in your code, please, because that's usually the best thing to do there. Don't worry, we'll wait for the HTML to get fixed. We'll wait for the HTML to get fixed. Is this related to that visually, if a website doesn't look appealing, then the developer will make the excuse that they'll wait for the HTML to get fixed? Or is it like a thing about there not being the features in the HTML that developers really want there to be? Because I don't really get this one. Okay, next one. Learn programming for future work. Learn programming to understand programming jokes. That's the only reason you need to learn programming. Yeah, okay, let's go to the next one. Look at old code from a year ago to refresh memory. Didn't write a single comment. That's what I said, you need to write comments in your code. A lot of times when you start out learning how to program and you don't write comments in your code, you will be using a lot of your code as references. If there's something you don't quite remember how to do, you'll be looking back at your own code. You won't be looking online in order to do that, usually most of the time. If you know you've done it before, at least, you're not gonna do that. That's the thing to do. Programmers will know no errors. I think this is one of those things that web developers, they understand a lot, because when it comes to web development specifically, a lot of the languages don't actually tell you if there's any errors. Not sure if programming is easy or if I know nothing. So you kind of have to go through steps. You have to go through, oh my God, this is so difficult, to, oh, I understand it now, to, oh crap, there was much more than I thought there was. Then finally, when you get beyond that and you actually wholeheartedly understand code, you're still not done yet because you still don't know everything. You have to learn even more. So, so this is something as well that is pretty funny to me. PHP, poor helpless programmers. Again, this is a joke that goes to sort of mock people who knows PHP. PHP used to be in a really bad spot back in the days. And a lot of the people that did PHP back in the days, they know about this. But today's PHP is actually really good. I think the main reason that people might still be mocking people today who does PHP is because PHP doesn't really give you errors, or it's very loose about the way you code PHP. So you can create a very poorly optimized, a poor piece of PHP script, and it will still run. And you're just like, oh, okay, this works. I'll just continue. And then a expert programmer who has been done PHP for many years will take a look at that code and be like, this is not good code. And again, that's something like everyone has to learn PHP at one point, and it's fine to develop websites that has poorly optimized PHP, because eventually a developer will reach a point where they see that methods they have been using might not have been the best methods, and they improve themselves. So, you know, you have to get from this to an expert somehow. You will have that period where you write bad PHP code, and you know, that's just something you have to get past. And I don't think this is something people should be mocking, to be honest, because this is something that everyone has to go through at some point. Debugging, being the detective in a crime movie where you're also the murderer. That is good. Next one. Software development process. 0, I can't fix this. 1, crisis of confidence. 2, questions career. 3, questions life. 4, oh, it was a typo. Oh, cool. No kidding, I had that moment yesterday. I was just making a game for fun in Unity, and I was trying to figure out why this one thing was not working. This is something that people who've done programming for many years will also encounter every day. So if you feel like you're a noob because you run into these sort of errors here, you will keep running into them. So that's something to know there. Oh, I know these memes. HTML is a programming language. No, it's not. It is actually not a programming language. It's actually a markup language. So just the more you know. Okay, so I can already tell this is one of those your mama jokes. So your mama's, statically, I think it said statically, right? Am I wrong here? Because for some reason I have a difficult time saying that word. She statically allocates her index table at the time of formatting. I might need to explain this for some people. If you statically allocate something, it means that you are compiling something before you actually run the software or the website. So when you're formatting the website and actually loading it up inside the browser, it's basically saying here that your mama's so, because you actually need to load her up during compile time before she gets loaded into the website, because she's too heavy to get loaded in during runtime. Like, you can't just do it while you're running the website. So that's why this is funny. You don't ever have to pass parameters if every variable is a global variable. Oh no. This is a really bad habit of programmers, that they make all the variables global variables because they can just access it from everywhere, instead of suiting every single variable to the specific purpose. So if you create a bunch of functions and you're like, okay, I don't want to pass in variables into these functions if I have to use them. Instead, I'm just gonna make them global, because then I can access them from inside functions as well. That's not a good way to do it. You're not supposed to be smelling my foot. I have my dog in here, by the way. I think he wants to say hi. Oh, okay. So you're a programmer. Tell me more about how you perform your job without basic English or copy-paste skills. I don't think this is something I can relate to. This is something I haven't heard before. I'm a programmer. And then people come in and say, make my website, please. I have $1 billion idea. Can you fix my printer? Can you make my game, please? I'll pay you a whole fine dollar. Oh, this is I don't think I've mentioned this before on my channel, but I do actually from time to time get emails from people asking me to join their projects, which is something I find a little bit awkward or weird for them to do. You don't just ask somebody randomly that you found on YouTube. You usually want to have an interview with them first and actually know what their strengths and weaknesses are, if they can actually help you out. So when they ask me by email if I want to join the big project, I see the people as being very unprofessional, and this is a project that they take very big risks and they don't think about their choices before they make them when they just ask some random YouTuber. Back when the channel had about 30,000 subscribers, I actually said yes to one of these people, and that was a big mistake because about 2 months down the road, I found out I was the only one who was actually serious about the project, because if I jump into something, I jump into the project and this other person quit the project. So usually if a person actually invites you to a prod, just kind of turn them down politely or something. 99 little bugs in the code, 99 little bugs in the code. Take one down, patch it around, 127 little bugs in the code. This is also something programmers can relate to. And it's one of those annoying times where you should just take a look at the entire script and just see, okay, should this be done a little bit differently, because you keep running into errors. Okay, so this one has a picture with it, and then it says like a programmer, wink wink at the bottom. You can't sit in between my legs because I'm kind of standing on one foot here, so if you try to go in between the legs, I have to stand off camera. It doesn't really work like that. Okay, so what this is, okay, so we have a method here from a C programming language. And essentially what he's doing here is that he's saying I will not spank others, and he's looping it 500 times. Because the teacher asked him to write it on the board 500 times. So he's being really smart about this. And instead of writing it 500 times, he's running a loop to just spit it out 500 times, which is kind of funny, I guess. The pupil of your eye can expand over 45% when you see something you love. My code doesn't work. I have no idea why. And then it says code compiled successfully, and then the pupil just goes crazy. My code works. I have no idea why. That is also a thing from time to time. Usually this is if you actually copy paste something from the internet, which programmers actually do quite often do. Don't thread on me, and then there's a Python symbol up there. Roses are red, violets are blue, unexpected, oh, curly bracket on line 32. I think I find this one especially funny compared to others because I see a lot of people in my comment field ask this quite often, you know, why do I get this unexpected blah blah blah? In my videos I usually tell people to, if they get errors like this, unexpected something, it's because they made a typo in their code. And I tell them in the video, when you go through your code and you can't see the typo, go through the code again, because it is there. There's a typo in your code. I usually don't reply to people that have those errors because I want them to be able to find the mistake themselves in order to actually learn how to find those mistakes. And usually a day or two later, they'll actually write me, oh, never mind, I forgot to do this, or I spelled this wrong or something. So that's something I think is a little bit funny. When your only programming experience is basic Python, but you understand some memes in this subreddit, you know, I'm something of a programmer myself. Works every time. Interviewer, explain deadlock and I'll hire you. Programmer, hire me and I'll explain to you. When you write 10 lines of code without searching on Google, it ain't much, but it's honest work. This is funny because people, like I said, do this quite often. They go on the internet, they find some code that fixes their problem, they paste it inside their website or inside their application, and then you need to actually look at the code you copied and understand what that actually does. Because if you don't do that, then you don't learn anything. You can't fix the same mistake later on. Or if something wrong happens in the code, you don't know how to fix it because you don't understand how the basic code functions. And to be honest, that's actually how programmers actually get good at programming. That's because they take code from others who know this stuff, and then they learn what they know, and then they, you know, it's not from taking a course and then you just know everything. So that's, oh, this is the last one. So this is the meme review when it comes to programming, and something I could actually do with a broken foot. So yeah, so this is something I thought was really fun to do. It's definitely different than what I usually do in the channel, so it was quite fun. I might do this again in the future. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.